Hi guys, this is Pleno1 from my third Vegas video blog. Today's a sad day. It's a sad day because it's a Sunday, and unfortunately, because of America's great rules, I can't play online poker. Horrible, horrible news. One of the first Sundays in a long, long time I haven't played online, and it kind of sucks because Sundays are just so great. There's a couple of guys I'm staying with who are actually playing online today. They have things set up, but unfortunately I don't have things set up in time. So I'm kind of envious of these guys who are playing online. Yesterday was a 1500 no limit. I think it's probably the best event of the whole schedule. Like, these 1500s get 2,500 runners, which is like a huge amount of runners, considering there's also like a 5k PLO on at the same time, a 5k stud, and also like day twos of 1ks and 2ks. To get 2,500 runners is just like crazy good. In the UK, if we get like 500 runners, it's like a really good field. So 2,500 runners in a 1500, which is like bigger than almost any event in England, is just so good. The value is like amazing. There was, I think, 6 or 7 fish on my starting table yesterday, which is just great. Means there's like so much play early on. The blind start at 25-25, and you get 4,500 chips, and everybody kind of gets put off these tournaments because of the structure. But the structure here is actually really great. You start with 200 big blinds for playing 1 hour for 1 hour. The blinds then go up to 25-50, so you basically have 100 big blinds. Then it goes 50-100, so you still have 50 big blinds. Then it goes to 75-150, so it starts to get a little bit shallow, but because it's an hour blinds and pre-ante, you can still play pretty tight and fine. And also because there's so much spots at your table, you just have so much options to chip up. Like, usually if you read a stake and thread or something, when a guy goes from a starting stack of say 20k to 40k or 20k to 60k or triples their starting stack, it's basically always from like doubling up or aces v kings or hero called and all in on the river. But I went from 4k to 14k within like 4 hours, just basically playing small pots. You play so deep against these guys in so many different pots, and the thing is, these guys are not putting you into bad situations. So in the UK, if you kind of sit down at the starting table now, you get lots of guys who are probably trying to 3-bet you and 4-bet you and get into these ego wars. Like, I know a lot of people have mentioned it recently, but these kind of 18 to 25, 22-year-olds, I'm a bit older than this right now, but these 18 to 22-year-olds in England are pretty aggressive and just trying to be heroes all the time. But in Vegas, everyone seems to be a little bit more passive. Like, these guys, it's like their big day out. They travel from all over America, the world, and want to play like their World Series event and take their hoodie home, and they definitely don't want to bust in level 1 or level 2, so they're just trying to not go broke, basically, which means you can put lots of small pressure on them, meaning you're not risking your stack. So early on you can do stuff like, let's say they raise you called, flop is something like Jack 7-2, and they make like a C-bet, which is less than half pot, like they bet 250 into 600. You can just make it like 780 here and give yourself a really good price to win. You're risking like 750 to win 750. And if your reads are that they're weak, you give yourself such a good price. So you can chip up pretty early in these tournaments without putting too much pressure on your stack. Also, if they do give indication that they don't want to fold and you have a big value hand, then it's relatively easy to get paid off as well. So anyway, so what I noticed yesterday was these bad players usually chip down to like 2 to 4k after 4 levels. So they don't really chip up at all. They just want to fold and fold and fold. And when they have a good hand, they make it like 10x. So this woman yesterday she folded like five orbits in a row. Then it folded to her under the gun, and she made it something like 600 at 25-50 or 50-100. And they just really don't give themselves a chance to chip up. So if she made it 600, then I had something like 10s or jacks, I'd probably just fold and wait for a better spot against her. So anyway, these guys really struggle to chip up, so they're really short for most of the time, and then they just have to get in with a flip, so either they win a flip or they lose a flip, and even if they win a flip, they don't get many chips. So these guys are quickly replaced by guys with chips, so the guys on the other tables who are still in will replace these guys. So yesterday I went from having 7 fish to having 7 regs, which was pretty unfortunate. and my table went like super aggressive. So it was just like raise, call, squeeze, raise, 3-bet, 4-bet. So it quickly went from a passive table with fish to a really aggressive table with regs. I kind of adjusted just by, I'm wearing this t-shirt, this 3-bet t-shirt, because it's so cold in the rear and I didn't bring any hoodies. It's just, everyone has flu and stuff and I'm really ill from the Rio because of it. So I put my 3-bet hoodie on and just played tight for a few orbits. Then a guy who moved to our table who opened like 20 pots in a row, 3-bet every hand. He opens from under the gun +1, gets 3 or 4 callers. I'm in the big blind with 7-8 spades and decide to call. Flop is ace 4-4, 1 spade. Checks to him. He kind of looks around, c-bets. I think he shut down. He was opening like 7 free suited and stuff, so he's just opening super wide. So he c-bets and it folds to my big blind. Everybody folds, and I decide to call. I think on ace 4-4 flush draw. I don't really have many bluffs. I could have flush draws, but I'm gonna look like I have an ace a lot of the time. I also could have any 4 in my range too that I would maybe not raise here because I don't really want to have a raising range in this board. Turn is deuce, so it's pretty good for my range too. If I had something like 3-5, ace-5, ace-3, it means kind of feels like the deuce connects with me a lot. Could also maybe have a good shot that I called with and got that too. River's a 10, he checks back. River's a 10 and there's like 3.2k in the pot. And I bet 1.2k and he calls in like 5 seconds with Jack 9 high. And I've just never been owned so much in my life. I felt really bad, and I have no idea if he could see my cards or I flashed my cards and he saw. But it felt like a really good spot to bluff in, that he was super light and he was super light, but he just managed to have the Jack 9 and find a call. So anyway, we move on to table Jake Bolziger from the November 9 last year, who was playing really aggressive. He had like every 25 chip on the table. He had something like 40k, and we decided to just play tight for a few orbits. We had like 20 to 30 big blinds, and I don't want to raise fold too much here because I think it's important to have a 3-bet fold stack versus these guys, like the Jake Bolzigers and the other aggressive kids at the table. If I don't have a 3-bet fold stack versus them, then I think they're just going to run over me and run over the table. So coming back from the break, I managed to get 2 3-bets through against them, and then I had something like 16k at 300, 600, and he opened to 12. I made it 23 or something. He actually made it like 5k, which was pretty scary as it was like third of my stack, but I had queens, so I went with it, and he had kings, so pretty huge coup. The average was like 10k chips at this time, and I had 16, so it had like 3.5x average. I think he's getting in way worse, like 10s, 9s, jacks, ace queen. Maybe even if he like 4-bet folds, it's really good because we chip up to 20 over 20k. So today is the 1k, and like I said, I don't really want to miss any of these tournaments just because it feels like I'm burning money if I don't play them. My housemate Jason's raping me at Chinese poker, so I need to kind of get out the hole somehow. So yeah, I'll get a taxi to the Rio. The taxi situation's here. I got a taxi 2 nights ago, and in England we don't pay really tips to guys. Like, if my taxi's £4, I give the guy 5. If my taxi's 8, I'll give him 10. If the taxi's 18, I give him 20. So we got a taxi here the other day, and it was like 17.10 or something, and I give the guy 20 and said, okay, keep the change, mate, have a good night. And he started having like a huge go at me, saying, how do you guys not tip me more? You should be giving me 25. And I was like, no, that doesn't work. And it just puts you in an uncomfortable situation. Like, when you get in a taxi, you kind of want to have a good taxi driver, like a friendly taxi driver. Like yesterday I had one from England, fortunately, so we kind of spoke about the situation, and he said when they go back to the taxi yard, they all tell each other secrets of how they can get more money out of people and stuff. And he said it's like really horrible. But anyway, yeah. Tomorrow, I don't know what's on tomorrow. I think tomorrow there's like nothing good. It's probably like a 400 or 600 or 200. So I may not play tomorrow, or I may play like a Venetian or something. Maybe a Caesars. I may see what friends are playing and then just play what they do. And then Tuesday we have the Venetian kind of main event at 2.5k, which is like 20k start and 1k blinds, 1 hour blinds, sorry. So kind of looking forward to the Venetian. That's the biggest tournament left on the package, I think. After them we just have 1ks and 1.5ks, so pretty looking forward to this Venetian, and hopefully I can win up a stack. So wish me luck.